G'day folks and welcome to another episode of Encounters Down Under. Judi joins the show to tell us about multiple experiences she's encountered and to also talk to us about her career in being a UFO investigator, which escalated to her being chased with what could have been the Men in Black. So please welcome to the show, Judi. Welcome to the show there, Judi. It's great to have you on the show.
Thank you.
Ah, it's great. So basically you've told me a few experiences that you had there where you've from your father to yourself there, and you've also been involved with a UFO sort of group there, investigating UFOs and such, and even
Yes.
potentially being chased by the MIB or the Men in Black as such.
Yeah, or some other government person.
Yeah,
Yeah,
okay.
that was quite freaky. But I've only just reconnected with the lady that I worked with back in '96 with the big Gosford sighting.
Yep.
But yeah, my involvement goes back way before that.
No, this would be great
Um,
to hear. So, if you just want to go and start us off from like your earlier stages, from your first experiences, basically, and just go from there.
okay, my earliest memory was I think I was about 7 or something like that. And I was with my brother in the backyard, and my brother and I were just laying on the grass looking up at the sky. And I remember my mother calling out and saying, "What are you doing?" And we're saying, "We're looking for UFOs." Now, back in those days, they weren't even mentioned.
Yep.
So we weren't quite sure what was going on there, but yeah, we just thought it quite novel. I mean, unless we'd seen like Marvin the Martian or something on TV and cartoons, I don't know. I can't remember.
Yeah,
But
can't
I
really remember
remember,
what inspired you to go and start looking for UFOs, basically.
no,
Yep.
no. So anyway, Eric von Daniken's Chariots of the Gods came out,
Okay.
and
Not sure I'm aware
and
what
I,
that is.
pardon?
I'm not really sure what that is. What's that one?
Chariots of the Gods was the first documentary movie that came out that looked at things like Egyptian hieroglyphs, the Nazca plains, went into like um, megaglyphs of sorts, crop circles, that sort of thing.
Ah,
But
rightio.
well, it sort of went back to ancient times. So he looked at evidence um, in Mayan cultures and Egyptian cultures mainly,
Okay.
and Indian, like American Indian culture and landmarks and things.
Yeah, wow, that would have
But
been incredible. So that was pretty much like the earliest sort of documentaries that sort of started bringing that sort of stuff out to the
yeah,
public.
yep. So we were we were talking about that type of thing, and my father says just out of the blue, "I've seen a UFO."
Yeah,
And
wow.
my brother and I looked at each other, and he said, "Yeah, but when I saw it, I was told never to tell anybody about it."
Okay.
He was driving a cab. He used to drive a cab around Blacktown, Seven Hills area. And he said he was waiting at the railway crossing because, well, there's a bridge there now, but it used to be boom gates. And he was sitting there waiting for this train to go past. Um, and he said all of a sudden there was just this huge craft in front of him, and it had lights shining into the cab. He said, and then it just whooshed off. And then there was a call over the cab radio. Did anybody see that? We've just been instructed not to mention it to anyone.
Yeah, right. Why? I wonder why they suddenly just come with that response. Go and don't talk about it.
Yeah, well, apparently it was reported to the police, and yeah, the cab network travels pretty fast, like on radio.
Yep.
So anyway, I think I was about 9 when he told me. But yeah, we went and saw Chariots of the Gods, and I just went, "Oh my goodness!"
Yeah. So did
That
your
yeah,
father mention he had any passenger with him at the time?
no, he was coming back. It was late at night, so
Yeah.
it was probably around 11 o'clock at night. So he would have dropped somebody off and was heading back to the rank.
Yeah. Okay. What about I think back in those times they might have had boom gate, was it automatic boom gates, or if like, they had the guys there that dropped them down for you,
No, no,
like
they
station
were
masters or whatever?
automatic ones.
Okay.
No, automatic ones. Lights started flashing up, and down went the boom gates.
Yep. Okay. No, that's fair enough. But yes, it's strange how they just told everyone to be quiet about it. Obviously, didn't want the ridicule.
Yeah, probably. I don't know. Um, so moving along, nothing sort of happened for a few years, and then when I was about, oh gosh, it was about round about 94. I started seeing craft, like I saw a couple, and then and they weren't very significant, except one of them was quite close up. I could actually see what appeared to be people. It looked like people moving inside the window. It sort of looked like a tourist ship, but it was in the air. It
Yeah.
was
Okay.
really weird.
Wow. Can you describe the shape and all that sort of stuff to us?
It was just a disc shape.
Yep.
Just your average shape, I guess. Didn't make any noise. It was there 1 minute, not gone the next. But then the most significant thing happened. I used to be in a theatre company, and I was the only driver out of four of us. So I went and we'd finished our rehearsals that night about 10. And traditionally, we would go and have a milkshake at a local milk bar, and then go up to a lookout called Crackneck, and just look out over the ocean, have a bit of a chat while we had our milkshakes, finished our milkshakes in the car, and then I'd take everybody home. But on this particular night, I dropped off one of the girls. So there was myself and two other girls and in the car. So we were just sitting up at Crackneck listening to the radio. Then all of a sudden the radio went off, and we thought we were just sitting there the whole time. And I know that it was probably about 10:15 that I dropped the one girl off.
This is at night time.
Yeah. Then I went to start the car, and the car wouldn't start. The radio went off, the car went dead, and everything like that. So I'm feeling with this, and I said to the others, I think I'll roll it down the hill. So we rolled the car down the hill, and when we got to the bottom of the hill, it started, but I went in to knock on the door to this girl's place to say, can you ring the NRMA for me, because the car's playing up? And her father answered the door, and I said, is Louise there? Can she ring up for us? And he said, do you know what time it is? And I said, it's probably about 11. And he said, try 3 o'clock in the morning.
Oh, wow.
So I don't know what happened then, have no recollection. All I remember is the car stopping, and that was it. And the others were with me.
Geez, how did you feel after the realisation of that?
It spun me out a bit.
Yeah, it would.
Yeah. But I figured because I didn't know what happened, it didn't really matter.
Yep.
I just sort of passed it off. I thought, I'm not going into anything. So, because I thought, if I do find out something, I might not like what I hear. So I didn't go into hypnotherapy or anything like that.
Yeah.
So anyway, it was from about that time that I moved house, and my next door neighbour was involved with animal welfare, but she also knew a lady who was involved in it, who was also the director of INUFOR, which is the Independent Network for UFO Researchers here in Australia. And that was I'd met her and told her about what had happened and the couple of sightings that I'd had beforehand. And then around that time, there was a huge sighting at Gosford, over Brisbane Water, where quite a large craft came down and started sucking up the water and sort of stayed there for a time and then took off. Um, that was witnessed by a police officer and several other people.
Okay.
And it became a case. So I ended up being one part of the investigative team and interviewing people about that.
Okay, that would have
Um,
been amazing.
yeah, I heard some really incredible things.
Yeah, I
Um,
bet you would have.
yeah, people just didn't talk about that. They talked about other things.
Okay,
Um,
can you elaborate a little bit on that, or?
oh, we had abductees turn up. I had a lady approach me that had a kid who was very frightened. Um, so I came and interviewed the kid, and because I'm a bit of an artist, so I actually drew. I said to the child at the time, "Can you explain to me what you're seeing, and I'll draw it." Well, they called them the dinosaur people, and a brother actually saw them too.
Okay.
And they'd come at night and take them um, away. And she described where she went, but I can't quite remember. It's really vague, but I have a vivid recollection of that drawing, and it was a reptilian, basically.
Wow, that would have been scary for the kids.
They were terrified. Oh, well, not so much. The little girl was. The little boy wasn't, because he really liked them. He'd wait for the dinosaur people.
Wow.
So, and the mother was really, really scared about the whole thing.
Oh, as you would,
So,
you'd be sort of concerned for your children's
yes,
well-being, sort of thing, wouldn't you? And, like, the kids going crazy, or they're seeing things, or what's going on? Yeah.
yeah. So yeah, you pick things up like that along the way as well. Um, and I was at university at the time too, doing a postgrad degree. So um, I was travelling back and forth and doing the investigations and going to the meetings and stuff like that. But anyway, I started to get all this information, and people were ringing me up, giving me information to pass on to Moira and stuff like that. And I was driving up there, and I had a fellow student. I'd pick her up, and we'd drive up to Newcastle. Anyway, I was starting to hear some pretty strange stuff, and at one stage I thought my phone was tapped. So I unscrewed the whole thing. You get a bit paranoid at times.
As you would.
But we were driving up um, from Wyong up to like the Wyong exit up the freeway, and there was this dark car with this man in it who was, and this is what caught us. She said, "That's weird. That man's wearing a hat in his car." And I looked back. He had dark glasses on. So, and he came up really close behind the car. That's what sort of got her going. But anyway, we were driving along, and I said, "I'm going to change lanes and see what happens." So I went across 2 lanes, and he followed me.
Gee, that
And
would have been
then
pretty sketchy.
this went on for 45 minutes.
Oh,
So I'm driving up the freeway, and we turned off at Walls End. So I got right on the outside lane, which means I had to cut across 3 lanes to go up the off-ramp. Because every time I'd change lanes, I'd speed up, he'd change lanes. And I said, "Freddie, just hold on to your hat. I'm going to do something really radical here." So I put my foot down, and I went across the 3 lanes and up the ramp and just floored it. And he couldn't get across to get up the ramp. So
wow.
after that, I just went, no, I changed my phone number, and I cut off all move on, all in UFO stuff for the time being.
Yeah, so that would have been pretty scary, like having that realization that you're starting to get a bit of attention.
Yeah, it was scary. yeah, quite scary.
It would have been. So what do you think they were trying to chase you for? Like, obviously, because you're involved with the UFO group, but like, do you think there's anything there that could have sparked the interest to them, like as to why they would be wanting to start track you down?
Um, well, I don't know. I think it was just like a scare tactic, or I could have been paranoid. I don't know, but that car was definitely following us.
Yeah.
Um, and I don't know why, but yeah, it frightened me.
Oh, it
So
would.
I thought, no, it's got to be something to do with what this UFO research is I'm doing.
Yeah.
I must have found something or stumbled across something that I don't know. They think maybe it's dangerous. I don't know.
Maybe something you shouldn't know.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So that's the only time you sort of had a bit of involvement with them.
Oh, well, there were other sightings as well. There, the best one I must say. Well, I used to get this urge, like I'd grab the camera, and who was ever in the house at the time, I'd say, "Come on, I'm going to take a photo of UFO," and I haven't got any of those photos left. They were damaged. But
Bugger.
yeah, so I'd grab a camera, and we'd see something like usually something minor, like just a couple of flashes or something. But one night we were sitting up Crackneck. I was up Crackneck with these other people, and I thought, oh, well, let's go home. I don't think we're going to see anything tonight. And on the way down the road, there was about 7 craft just floating. And they floated down across through the entrance, and then we got in the car and followed them right up to Lake Marmora, which is about 30 minutes away, and then they all disappeared. And
Wow.
and then another, like a couple of years later, I think yeah, a couple of years later, I had some other people in the car. We were coming back from Toukley. We'd gone up to Toukley for some reason, driving back along Wilfred Barrett Drive, which takes you back to the entrance. And as we were coming into the entrance, we saw a bunch of 3 craft, and one of the guys in the car with me was so terrified he actually started to cry. Now this is a macho
Oh dear.
guy. And of course, I just got out of the car and started running, and I didn't have a camera with me. I'm like, does anybody see this too? Yeah, yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
you're running towards them.
Yeah, I don't
No
have
fear.
fear.
Just straight into them.
No, they don't frighten me. No, no.
So how far away
Um,
do you think these objects would have been then? Like, obviously far enough for you to go and want to try and get up close to them.
oh, look, they would have been probably about uh, 8 meters, I'd say. They came down pretty close.
Wow. So how big do you think these objects were?
Oh, they were only like pod size, so they were kind of like a bubble. Um,
Okay.
yeah,
Couldn't have
but
been min lights or something like maybe? I don't know if they usually come
no,
in groups, but
not over the ocean and going into land. No.
okay. Yep. Fair enough. Yeah, I don't think I've
Um,
ever heard of min lights going around the ocean.
no, and I mean, like, a lot of these things, these sightings have always been around water. That's why I think this thing over at Richmond at the moment's really weird. And I suspect that it could be humans piloting these things.
Okay. So
Yeah,
what
I
gives you the
mean,
impression that the humans have this sort of technology?
well, oh, you haven't actually looked back into history, have you?
Not really.
The Germans had 3 craft that were designed from a captured craft from Russia, and they were used in the war.
Okay, yeah, I've seen little theories there, like little brief documentaries based on the Bell UFO. That's supposed to be based from the Germans capturing the UFO or something like. Yeah, I have a little bit of that like that. So is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, like, we've had access to this technology for like decades.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like my brother and I used to sit around and theorize about how it all worked, how the propulsion system worked and stuff like that.
Yeah.
We figured it had something to do with magnetism and all sorts of things. So, yeah, just really bizarre. And yeah, nothing for years until recently.
No,
And
fair
then
enough.
and that's when I actually contacted Moira again, and she said, "Oh, I've been thinking about you," and we haven't seen each other for like over 20 years. But she actually has written about 5 and working on her 6th book at the moment
Okay.
about UFOs and documenting sightings and witness reports and everything. She's been into it for years. Very knowledgeable lady. I've actually asked her to join the group,
Yeah, okay.
the
That'll be
page,
awesome.
the
That'll be
FB
definitely getting
page.
some information from her, seeing her sort of experiences and such.
Oh yeah, very very experienced with it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
so
was she part of that UFO research as well, was she?
she actually instigated it.
Oh, okay, yeah. Okay, I'm with you now.
Mm. Yeah, and that's how I became a member of UFO back then.
Yep, yep. So she's still currently doing it now.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah,
So she's right into it then.
yeah. If you get onto Google and type in UFO, it takes you straight to her page, and it's got her contact details on it.
Oh, excellent. I'll definitely go and have a look at that at some stage. That'd be
Yeah.
absolutely amazing. So how far does the her information go back to, roughly, you think?
I'm not sure. Like the first book I read of hers was the Gosford Files, only because I was in it,
Yep, fair enough.
under an alias.
Yep.
But oh, she's oh, I don't know how far she's gone back, but she's been back there a long, long, long time.
Yeah, no, fair enough. That'll be
And
absolutely amazing.
she's worked with people from MUFON in the States.
Okay.
You know about MUFON?
Yes, yeah. Move on. Yep, I know. Move on.
Yeah,
They're pretty much
yeah. So
everywhere.
yeah, she's got contacts in MUFON and other places. Yeah,
Oh, that'll be amazing. So has she actually had experiences herself?
I believe so.
Okay, yeah, definitely. I was going to try and chase her up. Maybe she might be interested in an interview here as well.
Yeah, and she's a great talker too. She's very concise
Oh,
about
that's good.
things. Yeah.
Probably do a better job than me. Ah. No, that's awesome. So basically, what time span do you think this went from, like, from your first experience to how recent? Like, if you can go through the years, basically, just to describe when
So
you had them.
first experience, probably first genuine I really saw it experience was probably about, oh, let's see, 17,
Okay.
and I'm now 59.
Okay, so that's a fair time span.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean it usually happens about every 9 years,
Okay.
but yeah, there was quite a gap, and then but in the meantime I've always been looking for him.
Yeah. I
Isn't
think
that weird?
it's always weird. You still always want to try and get that sighting again, don't you? Just to reconfirm that you're not going crazy, in a
Yeah,
sense.
I don't think it's like that sense. I think it's more like I know you're there and I want to communicate with you.
Yeah. Okay. That's one way of looking at it.
Because when I was watching these things the other night out at Richmond, I'm saying, okay, move right, and I'm trying to communicate with. And this is where I got the idea that possibly humans were driving these things, because in other situations where I've seen one and I've said move right or move up or down,
Yep.
it's done exactly that.
Oh wow. So
because
going basing off that though,
because
it might
these
not be
people are in,
human.
yeah, well, no, well they're interdimensional beings.
Yep.
So the um
There's got to be some sort of telepathic connection there for them to be able to understand what you're trying to
Well, that's
Ask them.
how they communicate. Um, have you seen the interview with Evie?
No, I can't say I have.
Um, that's a YouTube thing. It's an interview with an extraterrestrial biological entity. He was the only surviving um, creature from alien from the Roswell crash site,
Okay.
and he lived in Area 51 for a few years. They did an interview with him, and the interview that's on YouTube is when he gets sick. He actually gets sick, and they have doctors come and look at him, but it's
Oh,
a
I think I might have seen
telepathic
something
thing.
like that, but I didn't watch the whole interview. But I think I've seen little snippets of videos of something like that happening.
Yeah. Well, I found out about Evie through listening to an American Indian. I think he's Navajo. Um, he was doing a presentation about his culture and what they'd seen, because they were actually moved out of Area 51. That's where they lived until all this crash thing happened.
Yeah.
But yeah, he actually mentioned Evie, and I went, oh, and he's saying, he's like, check it out. If you don't believe me, check it out. So I did,
Yep.
and that's how I found it.
Yeah. Wow. So, what are your thoughts on the whole Bob Lazar thing? Do you think that's a connection between the two then?
Yeah, there's been a lot of people that have, well, put it this way, with the Roswell thing, all the nursing staff um, and a few people that were involved in that suddenly disappeared or were found dead.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I mean, like, people go, oh, it's all a big conspiracy. But if you really check it out, it kind of makes a bit of sense.
It sort of opens a big rabbit hole
Oh, yeah, yeah.
of
And
information.
I'm in that, I've been in that rabbit hole for a while.
Oh, it just keeps
And there's
going, doesn't
some
it?
really interesting stuff too, you know?
It would be absolutely amazing. It's just never ending. It just keeps going in a big, massive loop, pretty much.
Yeah, well, they've been here long before we were.
Yeah, definitely. I'm sort of on the same sort of theory, like I've heard theories there where the planet's reset itself several times over the centuries, and
Yeah,
it's
we're going
basically,
through one now.
yeah, pretty well. And so we've had civilizations before us, and that's probably where the technologies come from, in a sense. I think that's one way of looking at it.
Well, yeah, I mean, like, I've heard that they're from our future. I've heard well, I mean, there's a real thing for interdimensional stuff for
Yeah,
sure. Um, and like space and time continuum and time travel and all. It sort of flicks off to all these other different things.
yeah,
It's
it opens up a whole different aspect of worlds.
yeah, and I mean, you look at how our world is now, and how well, I mean, apparently their reason behind hanging around is that they don't want humans to destroy the world or themselves.
Yeah,
And these things only ever turned up after the nuclear testing.
yeah,
Up until then, there was really nothing that was evident. But yeah, it sort of came about with all this nuclear testing way back in the 50s.
yeah. Well, that's true too. Because you have seen like there's this you have seen them for sure, but like the hieroglyphs, the Aztecs, and all sorts of stuff. Like there have been like little descriptions of beings or crafts in the sky, like
Oh gosh, yeah,
depictions of something that could be alien for all we know. And then
yeah,
yeah, like nothing really in between that until the end. Like you said, like the nuclears came in, and next minute like nuclear silos are getting turned off for some unknown
yeah,
reason, and getting saying that like there's crafts in the sky.
yeah. I mean, like I had an interview because part of my degree was interviewing someone, and so I actually interviewed an Aboriginal who would be now an elder, but he's an artist,
Oh, that'd be
and
amazing.
his grandfather was the caretaker of Uluru.
Okay.
So his family caretakes Uluru. He's from up north end. I actually spoke to an Aboriginal performer a few weeks back, and I said, "Do you know this guy?" And he says, "Oh yeah, my brother from up there," and told me all of what he knew about him. But anyway, during this interview, we were talking about his work and everything, and he said, "I want you to switch the recording off." And I said, "Oh, okay. Is the interview over?" He said, "No, I'm going to get you a cup of coffee and I'm going to tell you something." And he started telling me about Pleiadians, like the Seven Sisters, and the Aboriginal side of things as far as what goes on around the rock and that. And I'm like, wow, why are you telling me this? And he said, because I know you'll understand.
That would have been amazing.
Yeah. And he was telling me stuff that doesn't actually go out of the tribe normally.
Okay.
So there was so just things like that pop up. Nothing is a coincidence in my eyes. It's like it happens for a reason. It happens at the perfect time.
Yep.
And all the perfect timing that was around major events like that in Australia or in my life, you get all this synchronicity happening.
Yeah, okay, so there's definitely a bit of an influence getting played into your life.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know if I've been abducted or anything. I have no idea.
Yeah, well, I
But
think the missing time part might have been a bit of a, a bit
might
of
have
an
been a bit
obvious
of a
one.
clue. But
I
I
would
mean,
think.
I like people that have said that their abductees go up there for like experiments. They get shown things, like they get shown the future. They get shown heaps of stuff.
Yep.
There's apparently they go to visit their children, their hybrid children, things like that.
Yeah, I've heard
Well, I
stories of that.
have no recall of any of that.
So I
So I
wonder
mean,
why you didn't
whether
get
I've
chosen to go
gone
and
as
see it.
well, I don't know, but I am a bit on the psychic side, so I don't know
Yeah, no, that's
if
fair enough.
that's an influence as well.
It could play a bit of
Because
a
I
part.
can pick up like 2 years ago, I said to friends, in 2 years' time, that something is going to happen that will change the world forever, and I don't know what it is. And guess what we're doing now?
Yeah, the old COVID. Yep.
Yeah,
The joys of
and
COVID.
I said there's biological engineering going on. Like, I mean, even back to when, like who's that crazy backpacker killer? Ivan Milat.
Yep.
When the backpacker killer thing was exposed, we were sitting around a table with a few friends, and I just said, gosh, I can see him in my mind's eye. This man, and I described exactly what he wore, how his brother was slightly involved about it. There was a property, there were like cars, it was like a car sale yard, backpacks were in a shed, all this sort of stuff. And I got a friend scribing it. And then a couple of weeks later, the Who magazine brought out a copy with him on the front, which was withdrawn from the shelves really fast. I still have the copy. And he's wearing the exact same clothes that I described.
That would have
And they
been
described the
amazing
property.
and scary at
So,
the same time.
well, no, it's not scary. I get random things like that. It's not all the time, and it's not always on point, but sometimes I'm dead set on point.
Yep.
It's really weird. So whether that's got something to do with it, I don't know.
Yeah, I just feel like it would have been like a scary realization. Going, holy jeez, I was right, and knowing that ability was on point.
Yeah, well, I don't. It doesn't frighten me. I think it's just I accept it. It's
Something you learn to live with.
and sometimes it's worked in my favour. Like I've been almost like felt shoved back from a doorway when I was leaving home, and 5 minutes ahead of me, where I would have been at times, been a car accident, just things like that,
Oh.
you know. So
Yeah. Okay.
yeah, I know those. Like I have those types of things, but yeah, the UFO stuff. I just feel like lucky that I've seen them as often as I have.
Yeah, definitely. That's one of those things that not many people get the opportunity to see.
No, and that's why people say you're an idiot because they've never seen them.
Yeah,
And we get people on the page going, oh, you're just seeing things, blah blah blah, and I'm like, oh, wait, oh, you there?
yeah, you're gonna be quiet.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry
There
about
you go. You're
that.
back. No, you're right.
Yeah, I'm back. Yeah.
It's unfortunate. Like there's a big stigma that still sticks around with the whole UFO genre, and sadly, people just still want to keep sort of laughing at people that claim they have experiences. Like, how can you knock people having those experiences there when you haven't experienced something yourself? Like, there's so much that goes on in the world that we don't know about, and you
Oh,
know,
yeah.
until we get told about it, and you're like, you expect it to believe it, but then it's like, well, when it comes to the UFOs and you're being told about a story, like, you should expect to believe it because like they're trying to tell you something that they've experienced,
Yeah,
sort
I
of thing.
mean, I can't understand it. Like, people will go, oh, like, there's a God and there is Jesus, there's the Bible.
Yep.
That's all the truth. They willingly believe
Yeah, that's
science,
perfect example.
but yet they willingly believe things they can't see or physically touch. But
Yep.
if they're told often enough by people that they think are smart or that they trust, they will believe it.
Yep.
Um, but because because they can't physically see what we're seeing, they'll ridicule us.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. But hopefully we can try and get away from that sort of stigma and open people's minds up to the reality of what actually does go around the world. Because like
Oh,
people can't be
it
just
will.
making up their own stories off the bat, like people saying with their stories of abductions. Like that's a big imagination if they are like
Hey,
lying
there's
about it.
thousands of us.
Yeah,
There's well, I wouldn't be surprised if it goes into the millions.
absolutely. Yeah,
And
definitely.
there's a lot that won't talk for fear of um, being ridiculed.
Yep, and unfortunately, it's like people like you and so many others that do actually come forward. Hopefully, encourage the other people to come forward with their experiences as well. Let it be known to the world.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. It's once they open up, then things will start to happen how they should be.
Yeah, and
If
hopefully,
those guys up there are only trying to protect us, they're not doing it. They won't do us any harm. So if there's any fear surrounding that, it's totally unjustified.
yeah, like if
I
they do
mean, all
come
those
forward,
cattle mutilations were done by people, so they weren't done by alien spaceships.
okay, that's yeah,
Yeah,
it's very
but
precise with the information I've seen on that. Like that's very clean.
yeah, yeah, it's not hard to do with a laser.
Yeah, no, that's fair enough too.
But
Like they could,
but
yeah,
yeah, they keep telling us they're here. The crop circles they're turning up. There's no way with the intricacy of a lot of those things that somebody can do that overnight.
no, it'd be a lot of effort.
Yeah,
Absolutely, a lot of effort and time to try and do something that like overnight. Yeah, I understand where you're coming from with that.
yeah. I mean the old ones perhaps, but the ones that are coming out now, there's just no way.
Yeah, a
I
lot of
mean
that too. You
the
have to go and watch for.
precision.
I think the few of the videos I have seen there's a lot of them have been CGI as well. So you have to be a little bit careful on that one.
Oh yeah, well this was kind of before then. There's actually there was actually a video taken, I think, in Sweden or Denmark, somewhere around there, of the things actually being made. There are little white balls that were going through a field, and then they went into the field and they saw this being made. It was really quite fascinating. But yeah, there's a lot that are pretty genuine too, as
Yeah,
far as yeah,
yeah, definitely.
yeah, yeah. The GCI thing, we're aware of that.
Yeah, unfortunately, a lot of people do mistake it though and believe it to be real, and I think that takes away a lot of the credibility when it comes to the UFO genre as well. And like
Yeah,
people just want to go and like it's creative, it is artistic, but then some people they just want to go and take the piss out of it, and I think that just takes away so much credibility from people's experiences there, and just makes
yeah.
a laughing stock for the whole thing.
it sure does. Yeah,
So,
absolutely. I mean, the latest thing is now a UFO-shaped drone.
okay. So a lot of people
I
will be
just
going
went,
mistaken that
oh
one.
my God, here we go.
Yep.
Like things are starting to happen, and what do? Make a UFO-shaped drone.
Oh dear. And people will
Yeah.
be going to be calling that one a UFO now and thinking it's aliens invading us or something like that.
Oh, yeah. Well, they're going to try and after all this COVID thing, that will probably be the next false flag.
Yeah,
That
I've heard
they,
that. They're going to be.
yeah, that they're going to generate what appears to be an alien invasion,
Yep.
and that's all political and dark.
Yeah, that's all from the American side.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I don't know why. That's the thing. It's a strange thing. Like, yeah, everything seems to have to come from the Americans. Like, why is that the case?
Well, I like to listen. Well, I mean, I think the reason that is because the Rothschilds and all those people are over there, and basically they run the world's economy.
Okay.
It all goes into it all comes back to money and power.
Yep. So what was that? The Rothschild? Did you say?
Yeah,
So what are they? Or who are
the
they?
Rothschilds, they're the richest people in the world.
Okay, I can't say I've really heard of them.
Oh, you've got some research to do, Anthony.
I do. I do. I usually just go and glimpse along and see what's coming up, like what's new in the world, seeing seeing people's encounters and stuff like that. I don't go diving right too deep into it because like it's just
Yeah,
like I was saying, a big rabbit hole and you just get lost in it otherwise, and it's like, oh
yeah,
jeez, how far do I want to keep going in it? So I just sort of like try and cross the top layers of everything,
yeah,
and so
yeah. A lot of the answers are in history.
yep,
Um, and I've been interested in history. That's where I I'm not. I wouldn't say I heavily research things. I gloss over. There was a time when I did,
yep,
but yeah, I mean, like um, I cross-reference stuff. I mean, I actually sent a thing to you the other day via the page um, about ancient um, ancestors, and it's to do with the Aboriginal side of things. And there's brothers uh, Evan and Stephen Strong, who research all the Australian glyphs. They've gone to the glyphs at Gosford, which are like it's just a fully carved stone in ancient, like in Egyptian hieroglyphs, and it's got things like boats and spaceships and things. I actually have photos of that.
okay, I'll have
Um,
to have a look.
yeah, um, yeah, and they do a lot of research into, and it crosses over into Aboriginal um, law and things like that. So they're really quite interesting to listen to if you wanted to listen to something more related to Australia.
Yep, okay, yeah, definitely something we'll look into.
Yeah, yeah,
No, that'd be absolutely amazing.
they're a bit dry, but
Yep.
yeah, it's they some of the stuff that they disclosed is quite interesting.
Yeah, okay, because I try to stay away from the American side of things and try to
Yeah,
keep things
there's
based to Australia. So that'd be one thing I'll definitely try and look into and have a little bit of research behind.
yeah, yeah. So them and Moira, um, pretty much the two sources that I rely on for Australian facts about that
Yeah, no, that's fair enough.
type of thing.
No, that'd be
Yeah,
absolutely amazing to read. So I just got a question based back onto your experience with your friends in the car and that sort of stuff. Did
yeah.
your now you got that missing time there? Did your friends mention anything of like how they experienced at all? Like if they had any memories or such?
I didn't tell them what time it was.
Oh, okay. So they're just thinking normal time.
Yeah,
Surely they would
I
have
didn't
realized
know.
at some point though.
No, I don't. Well, I don't know if they did. They didn't mention it,
Okay.
but I didn't tell them because I thought this would frighten them.
Yeah, no, that's fair enough too.
Yeah,
That
because when I came back from knocking on the door, I said, oh, and Louise's dad said she's gone to bed.
Yep.
So, and then like the car started.
So everything worked perfectly
We,
fine after that.
yeah, and I had it checked over by a mechanic. Nothing wrong with it.
Oh, jeez. So yeah, tampering with the electronics there, right? Whilst they till they finish with you.
Well, apparently, I don't know. I really don't know what happened.
Because it's sort of similar to
Uh,
the I think it was the Knowles incident. They had a similar thing too. They were getting chased by a car. I think their car conked out too, didn't it?
yeah, yeah, it usually does. Like, machinery usually does get affected.
Yep. So
Yeah.
definitely got some good technology there to go and toy with us anyway when they want to.
Hmm.
Which is the
Oh, yeah.
unfortunate part too, because like they can pretty much do whatever they want with us. That's probably the most scary part I find with this whole genre. Is like we have no control over anything that they want to do. If they want to do something, they just go and do it.
Yeah, well, they can. And this is why when people say, oh, like they're scary, they're going to invade us and stuff like that, they have had the technology to do this for thousands of years and they
Yeah,
haven't done anything.
yeah, absolutely. If they wanted to, they could just take over the entire world.
Oh, in a blink, we wouldn't know what hit us.
No. So, okay, what are your thoughts on this then? Why do you think they are hiding? Like, why do they always seem to want to stay at a public site? Why not
Um,
just come straight out and go, hey, look, here we are, and mold
because
society?
there's there were government treaties signed back in the 50s that related to that.
Okay. So
They
that's,
ac-
trying
they've
to,
actually had um I mean you they've actually had communications and things with high-end leaders, not just in America either.
yep. I was trying to think of the name, JFK, I think JFK would have been around there at that time. Or would have been Nixon? I don't know, I'm
Um,
not really sure.
yeah, JFK, and I mean like I even saw what was it? Barack Obama was the most recent thing when um, he was somebody was doing an interview, some American guy, late night shower, was doing an interview with him, and he said, "Oh, you know, something." And the subject of UFOs and things come up, and he said, and he just smiled, and he says, "I'm going to tell you what they tell me to say."
Yeah, I think I remember seeing something like that actually.
Yeah, and I
That,
thought that was hilarious.
yep.
But
That's just like
but
opened a
yeah, they
whole world of questions then gone, really, wow.
yeah, I mean like there was there's been technology exchanges. I mean like you see technology happen, and you think, well, you know, how does it happen so fast? It's not it's not really brainy people working at like a really big pace. It's coming from somewhere else.
Yeah, well, you think when Roswell crashed, well, the whole Roswell incident, that's when we started, our technology sort of boomed right up into the whole microchips and,
Yeah,
CVs and stuff, lasers, I suppose, or I think that all sort of stuff sort of coming out then.
yeah. I mean, like we only had an X-ray machine up until then.
Yeah, there's,
Now look at all the technology.
oh, it just boomed. It just improved so quickly.
Yeah, it's just incredible.
It is. And it's,
And the space race started out of that, and
it did.
like it just seems like a huge coincidence. I use that term loosely.
Yeah.
Um, that a lot happened since that crash.
Oh, absolutely. Most definitely.
Yeah.
And I think it sparked a lot of things going, a big domino effect, basically.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's absolutely amazing. So it's going to be interesting to see what the future technology brings on, because like we're going to be coming close to that point there where we're not that far from the alien technology, or
Look,
these flying
look,
crafts that can hover.
Tesla. Tesla came up with free electricity
Yep.
a few decades ago. The only reason that we don't have free electricity is because of of the money and power thing.
Yep. The monopoly, the
Yeah.
monopoly game, basically.
I mean, we shouldn't have things like phone bills and power bills and stuff like that.
No, that's right. We should be able to live our lives freely.
Yeah, because there are ways in which we can do that freely. But yeah, it all comes down to money.
Unfortunately, the world
Economy,
runs by it. Yep.
commerce. Yeah, everything comes down to the dollar.
It's a sad way, isn't it?
Yeah, but
When you really think about it.
people don't really care about people. They care about money.
It is. It's very unfortunate that way. Like you look at the sort of the islands, like the people that the countries that aren't influenced by like our sort of technology, like where we are, like they're pretty primitive in a sense, but like they're happy.
Yeah. Oh yeah, you go out, you see the African kids. They've got food. Well, if they're in a position where they got food, shelter, they run around bare feet, laughing the whole time.
Yeah, they're happy.
Yeah.
They're just
Yep.
free spirited, basically.
Because they haven't been manipulated as a society like we have.
Yeah, that's right. We like, but a lot of things like we take a lot of things for granted too. Like if we lose all this technology, we'll be buggered.
Oh, some might.
Yeah, that's some.
Oh, well, the majority might.
Yeah, probably more like the majority, and then you have the odd few here that don't care.
Yeah, see, I've been saying to people for years, if the world stopped, if technology stopped, at least I've got the skills to be able to scrounge around, light a fire. Basically, I know how to look for water where there's no water and things like that.
Yep.
And I used to be a graphic designer.
Okay.
I could put a newspaper together without the technology. I can do heaps of stuff without technology.
Yeah, back to the
So
old
it
days.
wouldn't really faze me. And there are a few people like that. I mean, you got your doomsday preppers and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm no doomsday prepper. But I know if all went pear-shaped tomorrow, that at least I'd be able to survive just with what I've got sitting inside my head.
Yeah, no, that's fair enough. That's good. That's one of those dying skills that not many people are going to have.
No, I mean, it's just incredible.
Yeah, like you look now, like there's farmers are becoming a dying breed.
Yeah, and there's a generation of people who can't cook a meal.
Yeah, it is unfortunate it's come that way.
You look on Facebook every day and you see people, oh, does anybody know if this takeaway's open? Or, do you know who prepares this? And we'll get HelloFresh and we'll try cooking. And my gosh, what is that?
Yeah, everything's all prepped up for you, delivered to your door.
Oh.
Life's become too easy in a sense.
Yeah, I mean, it just, like the other day, because we're going through this thing, I even cooked a meal and took it to work for all my colleagues, just to have some sort of real connection.
Yep.
It's like, even though we couldn't sit and eat it together, it gave us a connection and caring and stuff like that,
Yeah, definitely.
That seems to be going out the window too.
It does. Everyone's just all concerned about themselves, really.
Yeah. Sad place.
It is. It's unfortunate. So basically, I don't want to bring on that alien invasion that might bring the people together.
No, they'll be too scared. It'll be every man for himself.
Well, it probably could be too.
And then there'll be us light workers stand there going like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
But anyway.
Oh, look, I hope it does bring us all together if that was the case. Like, the world needs it. We need to go and, find back our humanity there and become one.
Yeah, if this doesn't do it, something's got to give.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's coming.
I hope so.
Yeah, within the next 5 to 10 years, you'll notice the incredible difference between what was last year and what's then.
Yeah.
In the future.
Oh, honestly, look, I hope
you look back and you go, Oh, I remember Jude saying that.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, at least we have the podcast evidence there to go, hey, look, there we go. Jude did say it. But yeah, look,
Yeah,
honestly, I hope the world does sort of get a little better, and I hope if we do like get some better disclosure in the future there with these crafts that are flying around that the U.S. government's admitted to now these days, because we certainly need something a lot more open to the whole genre to go and open the world up, going, hey, look, these things are around, they do exist, so
yeah,
don't
yep.
hide away from it.
I'd just love to be able to speak to them.
Oh, wouldn't that be great?
I'd just love to be able to say thanks for taking care of us all this time, and the world's pretty crap, but I'd love to hear what you got to say.
Yeah. Oh, it would be amazing to see what their history is too, like how far back do they go observing the
Oh,
Earth, if that was the case.
thousands and thousands of years.
It'd be amazing.
Yeah, it certainly would.
Yeah. So before we end the show, anything else you want to add to there, or any experiences, or anything else you want to sort of throw in there?
No, I don't think so.
That's pretty much it, eh?
That's pretty much it.
No, that's
And
cool.
I'll look for those little things buzzing around again tonight. Maybe they'll come, maybe they won't.
Yeah, well, hopefully it's not overcast, so you can actually see everything that does go on and won't be
You
hiding in the
see, the thing
clouds.
is, the first time I saw them, it was slightly overcast, and they cast it against the cloud because of the light, the urban lights reflecting back off the clouds.
Yeah, yeah.
Mm,
Yeah, okay. Thought it was still amazing, though,
that's
either
what
way.
caught my eye.
Oh, look, it still would
Yeah,
have been an amazing experience there, seeing something so unusual and out of the ordinary.
I just get all happy and excited about it.
Yep. No, that's awesome. Look, it's certainly an amazing experience, and I hope people do get to have their own little encounters and experiences there, and not just the one, because you see the one there, you sort of start questioning yourself, thinking, oh, you're going crazy and that sort of stuff, and then you see a second one if you're lucky enough, and go, yep, no, I'm definitely not going crazy.
Yeah,
It sort of just puts that bit of a, I'm trying to think of the word now, it just puts a bit of a genuine.
it
I can't even say it now.
clarifies.
Clarifies, genuinity. I think I can't even say that word now. I'll stop where I am. But yeah, it does. It clarifies that you aren't going crazy. Not that the people are crazy with their initial sighting, but
No,
it
I
just, yeah.
I think the craziness is in the ignorance of people.
Oh, definitely. Absolutely.
Mm,
Like, we're definitely not the only ones in this universe. It's a vast universe, and we can't be the only ones, but that's for sure.
yep, you're absolutely right.
There's so much that goes on. So, but anyway, look, thank you very much, Judy, for joining the show there and telling me your experiences there, and
No worries.
I hope you enjoyed your time here.
Yeah, it was good having a chat.
Yeah, it's awesome. Oh, so all the best, and I hope you get
Okay.
your little sighting again sometime soon.
Yeah, I'd like to see more.
Yeah,
Okay then. Well,
absolutely.
thanks a lot, Andrew.